Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the VLookup and the HLookup functions. I've opened the Learning Files workbook and I am on the sales vertical table. Now, if you can't see this sheet when your Learning Files workbook opens up, use the right navigation button at the bottom. Okay, this allows you to see any sheets that are hidden on the right side. So let's look at this workbook. So this is sales information for a company. We've got our sales agent names in column A, our quantity sold in B, company profit in C, commission earned in D, and then in columns F and G, we've got this little area where we're going to generate an agent report. That's where we're going to use our VLookup formula. Now, VLookup stands for vertical lookup. And what this function does is it searches for specific data in a column. Okay, columns are vertical. That's why we're using VLookup, as opposed to the HLookup, which uses rows, which are horizontal. Okay, so the VLookup searches for data in a specific column and then returns corresponding data in a different column in the same row. So looking at this little agent report, what I want to happen is I want to type a sales agent's name in G2, and I want the quantity sold, company profit, and commission earned data for that sales agent to populate automatically. The VLookup formula is going to help us do that. Here's how it works. I'm going to click in G3, because that's where I want to build my formula. I'm going to click on the FX button and search for VLookup. And there it is. I'm going to select it. I'm going to read what it does, looks for a value in the leftmost column of a table, and then returns a value in the same row from a different column you specify. I'm going to click OK. Now, these are my function arguments. This is where I enter the information that is required for my formula. Now, as you click in your argument windows, you'll notice that at the bottom of your window is a description of what information that window holds. So I'm in the lookup value window, and it says lookup value is the value to be found in the first column of the table. So for me, my lookup value is going to be G2, because that's where I want to enter in my sales agent's name. And that's where the data in the leftmost column is present. I clicked in the table array window, and that says table array is a table of text, numbers, or logical values in which the data is retrieved. So this is where I'm going to find the data that I want to retrieve. So that would be A2 through D26. Notice when I selected my table array, I did not select my column headings. And if I had totals, I would not have selected those as well. I only want the actual data. Column index number. So that says this is the column number in the table array from which the matching value should be returned. So in my table array, the column that I want to pull the quantity sold data from is column 2. So I put a 2. range lookup. So if you leave this omitted, because it's not required in the formula, and we know that because it's not bolded, if we put nothing here, it assumes that it's okay to look for the closest match to our data. But I always type false in this window because false requires that this formula find an exact match, and I want an exact match. Let's hit OK and see what happens. Now we've pulled an error. It says nothing available. And that's because our formula is pointing to this cell, which is empty. Okay, as soon as I type an agent's name in, I'll put my name and hit enter. It shows the quantity sold data that goes along with my name. Okay, next I'm going to build a VLookup that will pull the company profit data for my name. So it should pull a 4,000. And after that, I'm going to build a VLookup that will pull my commission earned, which should pull the 2,000. Let's do it. So I'm clicking in G4 because that's where I want to build my formula. I'm going to click on FX. I have VLookup in my recently used, so I don't have to search for it. I can just select it and hit OK. Now my lookup value is the same, G2, because I only want to enter in my sales agent name. My table array is the same, A2 through D26, because that's where all my data is. Column index number is different, because this time we're looking for the column that holds company profit. So that would be 1, 2, 3. So I put a 3. And I also want an exact match. So I'm going to type false and hit OK. And it pulled 4,000 for me. Okay, if I put a different person in, let's put Grillo. Okay, it pulled her quantity sold was 5, and the company profit she made was 5,000. Let's do commission earned. FX, VLookup. My lookup value is still the same because I only want to enter in my agent name. My table array is still the same because I'm using the same data. My column index number is different because I'm looking for commission earned, and that's in 1, 2, 3, 4. So I put a 4. And then in my range lookup, I type false because I want an exact match. So now, if this were a giant table with hundreds of rows of data in it, a formula like this could be really useful because you could just type in any sales agent and their data will populate. So that's the VLookup formula. Now next, I'm going to show you the HLookup formula. So I'm going to click on the sales table horizontal or sales horizontal table. This is the same exact data that we looked at in the vertical table. The only difference is it's displayed horizontally with row headings instead of column headings. So we're going to use the HLookup formula because our data is displayed horizontally. That's the only difference in the HLookup and the VLookup. Everything else works the same. So again, I want to type my agent name in cell B7, and I want all this data to populate when I do. So I'm going to start my formula in cell B8 next to quantity sold. FX button. This time I'm looking for HLookup. Here it is. Here's my description. It says it looks for a value in the top row of a table or array of values and returns the value in the same column from the row you specify. Click OK. My argument windows open up. They work the same as the VLookup. If I click in an argument window, a description shows up at the bottom. So my lookup value in this case is going to be B7 because that's where I want to enter my information. My table array is B1 through Z4. I didn't include my row headings. My row index number is, I want quantity sold, so that's 1, 2. And again, I want an exact match, so I type false. I hit OK. It's saying not available because the cell that it's dependent on is empty. So I'm going to enter someone's name in there, and it populates. I entered Sears, and it pulled quantity sold for Sears. Let's do company profit. HLookup. Lookup value is the same, B7. Table array is the same, B1 through Z4. Row index number is different because this time I'm looking for the company profit, and that's in row 3. 1, 2, 3. I type false in my range lookup because I want an exact match. I hit OK. He pulled $6,000 for company profit, and that's true. Let's do the last one, commission earned. I clicked in cell B10. I get my HLookup. Lookup value is B7 because that's where I want to enter my information. Table array, B1 through Z4. Range lookup, I'm looking for commission earned, which is in the 4th row. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's my row index number, 4. And my range lookup is false because I want an exact match. And that pulled 3,000 for Sears. All right, let's check out Brown. Okay, it pulled Brown's information. Let's try Tarketta. Okay, so that's the HLookup and the VLookup formulas.